performance out of Tom Gugliotta. He had that kind of performance. Well, he lost his cousin who used to live right upstairs from him, his mom's sister's boy, and it was a tough time. Very sad moment, Mike said, Thursday and Friday. And we certainly, we extend our best wishes to the Krzyzewski family.
Duke on the attack as we're just underway here from Reynolds Coliseum, this historic building that North Carolina State's had so much success in. Lang misses the running one-hander, Davis the rebound, and here comes North Carolina State. That's Donnie Seal, number 5, a transfer from Anderson Junior College. Walked on here actually at North Carolina State and earned a scholarship at semester.
They're going to try to use some clock right now, Roger, trying to shorten the game a little bit. They'll run if the three-point shot is there, but other than that, they want the high percentage shot.
Curtis Marshall, Mr. Basketball in the state of Nebraska, his senior year, doesn't get the bounce, and Duke will come away with it.
Grant Hill, so smooth, like velvet.
Hill, left-handed shot off the glass and in.
That's a tough shot, going to your right, utilizing the left. He's a left-handed player. Mike was a little bit down in that locker room. As we said, we sent our sympathies to his family, losing his cousin, who was very, very close with.
On top, Davis, the freshman out of Utica, Mississippi, misses it, and Leitner, he can do it all. He'll bring it down court for you, shoot the three, take it inside, as Duke does right there. Davis misses it, and it'll be Duke basketball.
It's really important out of the gate, Roger, that psychologically North Carolina State doesn't fall behind by big numbers. And this is the guy, Gugliotta, that has to make it happen.
Gugliotta, 22.7 points per game, over 10 rebounds and 3 assists. He has made himself into a terrific basketball player in his 4 years here at North Carolina State.
Well, great story. Came here not heavily recruited.
Terrific hustle out front.
Oh, great look.
Marshall, 2.
Tremendous fly off the floor.
That was Mark Davis, the young man who Dick came up to you before the game and asked you for your autograph.
I said, you got to concentrate on the game.
Hill outside. In the lane.
They're going to double up on him. Excellent pass from out of the post.
Oh, that was a foul out front. Thomas Hill was pushed there by Gugliotta. They didn't call it. And now the officials conferring. Les Robinson saying it's our ball, it's our ball.
Les Robinson, look at a fighter here. He's lost 8 in a row. He's operating with a short deck. They don't have really a deep basketball team, and they lost a great combination last year in Corciani and Monroe. The best offensive backcourt combo in America.
Leading scorer and assist man in North Carolina State history. The duo of Corciani and Monroe, and Grant Hill inside, and he is such a force inside.
Here's the versatility, Roger, we talked about. He's a point guard who slides in the lane and utilizes post-up ability with his great size.
Marshall's just 5'11". He's out of Creighton Prep in Omaha, Nebraska.
Well, he's been playing well lately. Had a real good game against Maryland.
Seal tried to get the entry pass into Thompson. Davis on the wing, and he's fouled by Donnie Seal going in.
The no-look pass by Grant Hill, the Velvet Man. Donnie Seal's an interesting story. Gained his eligibility on December 17th. Look at the no-look, the one-hand bounce. And there goes Davis. Davis is a solid, what we call, role player. Every team needs a guy to do the little things. Look at him posting up inside, taking advantage of his great size. See what they did right there is they inverted. They took their guards, rotated their guards inside, and brought Leitner up on top.
Davis, a 77% free throw shooter. At the line for 2, gets the first one. Dick, this is something that Duke does so well. 74% from the line. They're ranked about 7th nationally. They have made 240 more free throws in their opposition.
Well, the thing is that they spread the court so well and take advantage of the one-on-one abilities of their players and utilize dribble penetration to cause the foul situation.
5-2, Duke leads it, 17-20. Let's go first half here from Raleigh, North Carolina. Glad you could be with us on this Sunday afternoon. Duke with 19-1 record, 9-1 in the conference as Marshall gets trapped inside. And that's Davis, the young man from Utica, Mississippi.
Duke plays outstanding half-court man-to-man defense, always giving help to one another.
Thompson, who is inside, has had some good games against Christian Leitner. They're looking into him.
Thompson, a big, strong, wide body on the interior, has to become a little bit more offensive-minded.
5 on the shot clock as Marshall takes it in.
That's perfect basketball for North Carolina State. Use the shot clock and get the high percentage shot.
before, Les Robinson told us before the game, they're going to try to eat some clock up as Grant Hill misses. Strong rebound inside by Davis. This young man, 6'5", 220 from Utica, Mississippi. Les Robinson said he's kind of a Quinn Buckner type of player.
I really like him. He's got great three-point range. In fact, leads the ACC in three-point shooting. Also, valedictorian last year in this class.
Gugliotta from the side. Well, look at the rebound by Davis and puts it back up.
That's just a great athletic move. He's also a civil engineering student with a three-point average. Mr. Davis, they're going to love him down in Mississippi.
Mark Davis, 10 points over 4 rebounds a game, and State's got the lead, 6-5.
Well, I missed Laker. Should have had it to him a little bit earlier when he flashed to the basketball.
Gugliotta, what are they doing defensively here, State?
Well, they've got Gugliotta now matched up on Laker. What a matchup there. They're playing good half-court man-to-man defense.
Boy, mismatch in there with Marshall inside.
Yeah, trying to guard on Hill. That's a walk.
Traveling call.
That's a walk. He definitely lifted that pivot foot and taking that step to the basket.
Lenny Wirtz, Donnie Gray, Larry Rose are officials today, and a timeout on the floor. 15:38 left to go first half.
Well, I think the rumors are just unfounded. I really do. If you look at that situation, first of all, the UNLV kids, they come back, they give up all the cash they possibly could have had. Talking about Altman and Johnson, they come back for their last year. Think about this. They were shooting for an unbeaten season, number one. Number two, they wanted to win back-to-back national championships, the first time since 1973. And I'll continue this because I'm really frustrated about this. Also, they were +5 on Duke with like 2 minutes to go as Gugliotta shoots the three, and he knocks it down. But remember, Hurley hits a big three late in that game. If that thing bricks, they win the game, UNLV. So I think it's totally unfounded, and I think it's unfair, not only to the UNLV people, but it demeans the great effort of Mike Krzyzewski, Grant Hill, Davis, Laettner, Hurley, and all those kids. I think nothing but rumors.
Whistle inside as State leads at 9-5 after the three-pointer by Gugliotta. And the foul on North Carolina State, Tom Gugliotta, that is his first. Lakeista McCullough has checked into the game for State. Number 3, a 6'3", 170-pound freshman from Andersonville, Georgia. Another one of those freshmen that Les Robinson has used so much. And the shot outside by Thomas Hill. Off the mark, and Marshall quickly pushes it up.
The baby boomers, they call them, the little guys on the perimeter. They've really had a problem protecting the basketball. Turnovers have been their real nightmare.
Now inside, they're posting up Gugliotta. Has it stripped away in the whistle. The foul's going to be called on Antonio Lang, who stepped into the starting role with Bobby Hurley going to the bench.
Yeah, he's a good defensive player and a good role player. He's got long arms, good jumper. Gugliotta goes to the line. To continue, Roger, certainly you don't have enough time as you look at Bob Hurley sitting there dressed up in his threads. He'd rather have his uniform on because he's Jersey City, baby. He's blue collar. He doesn't like the shirt and tie. I just think it's the continued harassment of Jerry Tarkanian. When is the soap opera going to end? I mean, it's unbelievable. Enough is enough. And they're now bringing down innocent people along the way. Duke won that national championship. They deserved it. They earned it. And that's the way I look at it.
Gugliotta makes 1 of 2, and right now the Wolfpack on an 8-0 run. They lead it 10-5 with 14:29 to go. First half.
Their style of play has been perfect early in the game. Now they're rotating into the zone, trying to take Duke out of any kind of rhythm. Grant Hill's not a three-point shooter, basically. In fact, he hasn't made one all year.
He hasn't taken one.
Yeah, hasn't taken a
He's the only starter that hasn't taken a three-point shot. He knows where his bread and butter is, and that's inside.
You know what it is? He's so talented that he's able to penetrate, like right there.
Wide open, Thomas Hill. That's a 2, won't go. Donnie Seal battling. Can't get it on the side. And Grant Hill wide open, in and out, and the rebound by Thompson. Thompson, good man on the board, averaging over 8 a game.
Les Robinson really working the sideline. This game has really gone according to his plan.
Seal, the spin move, and the whistle on top. Donnie Seal, as Dick was mentioning, an interesting story, 6'5" junior from Eden, North Carolina. Went to junior college out of high school, and after 1 year there, made his own way here to North Carolina State, walked on and earned the scholarship, as we've got a couple substitutions checking in for Duke. Kenny Blakeney, a 6'4" sophomore from Washington, D.C., and Cherokee Parks, the freshman, 6'11", from Huntington Beach, California.
Parks eventually is going to be an outstanding player. Next year, when Laettner graduates, he'll step in that lane, play his 30 minutes, and he'll start to really be productive.
Loose ball. Grant Hill will take it. And,
hello!
And the foul. three-point play potentially for Grant Hill.
He's so explosive, and he's so smooth, silky smooth. Grant Hill, he will go down as one of the greats ever to wear a Duke uniform. Here's the strip right now by Thomas Hill. What an athlete. His dad was a hurdler, an Olympic hurdler. There he kicks it out to the trail man. Here goes Grant. His dad was the Dallas Cowboys super, and he takes it to the goal. Bam!
Lakeisha McCullough committed the foul, and the free throw is in.
You like Grant Hill, Roger? You got to like his ability.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, this lineup in here, I don't know if they can challenge the Doctors of Dunk at Louisville or Fly Sandwich Jam at Houston, but they can make a run at it.
Well, they certainly could dunk the basketball.
Marshall the miss, tipped around, and Cherokee Parks comes down with a rebound.
Shot it a little bit too quickly right there. They got to have a little better tempo.
10-8, State leads it. Blocked inside. Great job there by Thompson. Donnie Seal, pull-up, three-point land, hits!
Donnie Seal says, hey, we're not going to have patience here, baby. They are instructed right now, according to their game plan, if you have the open three, shoot it. If you do not, bring the ball out, spread the court, and use the shot clock.
13-8, 5-point lead for State with 12:45 to go.
Got to play in the zone, trying to keep themselves fresh physically. They don't want fatigue to enter late in the game.
That's Blakeney, number 4. He was on a rare red shirt for Mike Krzyzewski.
Blakeney doesn't get a whole lot of playing time. He's not a Damasco.
Thomas Hill from the side, that's 2.
Thomas squares his body really well. Tough, tenacious defensive player as well.
Hill averages over 15 points and 3 rebounds a game. Dick, what about a game like this? Is this less pressure on these young North Carolina State players rather than a game maybe against some of the other teams in the ACC who they feel they ought to beat?
Well, you know, really right now when you've lost 8 in a row, you just got to come out and play and have some fun. You have really no pressure in terms of winning or losing, but you have to just come out and play. The pressure's really, I think, on the Duke kids, trying to sustain and maintain their situation as the #1 team in America.
Leitner gets a rest. Antonio Lang checks back in, so now Lang will be guarding Gugliotta.
They have to get some screens for Gugliotta to get him a good look at the basket.
Donnie Seal trapped on the side. Thompson gets it out to McCullough.
Gugliotta had a post right there, and he missed him. Porciani would have had that ball right on his hands. Back screen by Gugliotta.
McCullough takes it all the way and misses it. And Blakeney with a rebound.
McCullough has a tendency to play out of control. He was an outstanding athlete on a high school level. He was able to rebound, run, jump, do the things he wanted.
3 for Thomas Hill, won't go, and Seal, who's done it all so far today, rebounds, defense. He's hit a 3. We'll kick it back to Marshall. Thompson guarded by Cherokee Parks. Drop step inside. Parks gets a piece of it.
Good defense by Parks. Here comes Hill.
This is the thing about Duke. So many of these guys can handle the basketballs. Lang knocks it down. They can bring it down. 4 spots on the floor.
Well, the secondary phase of their transition game was executed right there. Little dribble to the right by Hill. He catches the trail man, Lang. They know exactly where to be on the floor. That is coaching.
State by 1. Thompson setting the pick up top.
See Cherokee Parks getting ready to give a little what we call a head step out. See Thompson trying to take Parks away by playing on a perimeter.
Gugliotta. The pump fake. Can't get it to go, but draws the foul on number 21 for Duke. That's Antonio Lang in his second. Tom Gugliotta, according to Coach Les Robinson, in his 4 years here has really made himself into a #1 draft pick, possibly a lottery pick, and he's done it just through sheer hard work. Want to remind you, the Fruit of the Loom Professional Boxing Series concludes with a World Championship fight. In his 6th title defense, WBC Super Welterweight champ Terrible Terry Norris goes...
It was that friendship that built between his dad and Jim Valvano that really gave him the opportunity to come to NC State. And he has certainly, with the great work ethic, has become the player that he has. But Jimmy gave him that opportunity to come here when he recruited him out of Long Island. Here's a great trivia question for you. Who was Michael Jordan's roommate in college? That was Mr. Peterson at North Carolina.
Leitner, that's a 2. Christian Leitner for Duke gets his first 2 points of the game.
That's what makes them so special. As you said earlier, they can all handle the basketball. They all can rotate to the perimeter and also rotate inside the Duke team.
Mujib Bakali has checked into the game now. One of the top 6 men in the ACC. He's number 22.
Well, he can shoot the 3, but he's a guy that really has a tough time getting free for his shot. Last year with Porciani, he was able to get free, and Porciani was able to deliver the lob to him.
Mike Krzyzewski.
It's all been said about him. The guy is, without a doubt, the premier coach in the nation in every phase that you could rate a coach.
Well, if the general's the general, is he the commander-in-chief now?
Well, he's starting to get up there. I tell you, he learned everything. He'll be the first to tell you. He learned so much from the General Robert Montgomery Knight when he played for him at West Point. And the number one thing he learned was preparation, how to be prepared and handle detail.
Gugliotta falling away, hits the three.
I'll tell you one thing. They say Tom Chambers. I don't see the Chambers comparison. I see Kiki Vandeweghe, that jump shooter, the guy that can square the body and deliver the long-range jumper.
Except he's got about 2 inches on Kiki. Ball away by Leitner. Won't go. Gugliotta the rebound.
And I'll tell you something else he has. He is tough as nails. He's a fierce competitor.
18-14, 4-point lead for State. He can put it on the floor.
He wants Leitner. He says, come on, Leitner, you got a lot of help. I don't have enough help, Leitner.
State has lost 8 games in a row, and Duke has lost 5 straight here at Reynolds Coliseum. Steal out top, scramble for it, on the floor. Marshall gets it to Gugliotta.
That's been their dilemma, trying to get the good shot handling the basketball.
Good pass inside to Davis, and traveling's called. This is the thing that's really hurt Les Robinson's team. The turnovers, Dick, and poor free throw shooting this year.
Well, anytime you line up with so many young people, watch Gugliotta, great eyes. He looks at Leitner, fakes the shot, triple threat position, drives it inside. He can pass and he can shoot, and that's why the NBA scouts here really like him.
Robinson makes a change. He puts Donnie Seal back in, but Collie will sit down. Turnovers so far in the game. State with 3, Duke with 2. Wolfpack with a 4-point lead, 9:15 to go first half. Lob it into Leitner. Seal comes away with it.
They're playing with such intensity. You got to respect the effort by North Carolina State.
Marshall, tough from three-point line. Good rebound by Cherokee Parks.
That's one of the problems for young people. Shot selection. Bad shot by Marshall.
Gugliotta's got him tied up. No, they're going to call the foul.
Lenny Works. Look at Lenny Works looking at Gugliotta. Watch out, Lenny. He'll dunk on you.
That's the second on Gugliotta.
Lenny has such a love and passion for the game. There's the double up. They think they got the ball. But here comes Mr. Wirtz. He says, no, I got a hold.
Thomas Hill will check in. Cherokee Parks will sit down for Duke.
I love the way he referees a game in terms of his feel for the game and his love for the game. It's the same with a Luke Horn second on the sideline. You got to love his energy as a coach.
Jamie Knox will check in, and Gugliotta will sit down. Knox comes into the game, a 6'8" junior from Vicksburg, Mississippi, who blew his knee out last year, tore every ligament in his knee, and he's made a tremendous comeback. As Leitner just doesn't seem to have the touch inside. Loose ball, and the foul underneath is going to be on Knox, who just checked into the game.
You mentioned Jamie Knox. A lot of courage to even be playing again with the kind of knee that problem he had in rehabilitation. It was such a tough, long road to come back in a uniform, and it really hurts his game because he was such an explosive leaper.
Today's game between Duke and North Carolina State being produced in association with Raycom Sports, as Grant Hill will head to the free throw line. I mentioned this is a strong point for Duke, 74% on the year. Grant Hill hitting 75% of his free throws. And Dick, we talked about it before. It's becoming a lost art. Good free throw shooting in college basketball.
Well, you see so many guys struggle at the free throw line. You go down to Kansas, and Richard Scott struggles like you can't believe. Shaquille O'Neal down at LSU. Chris Webber. I mean, these are guys that are really important to their basketball team, and down the stretch, they can become liabilities.
18-16, 2-point lead, the trap, and Seal's able to get it to Davis. Marshall inside, takes it all the way up and misses it. Tipped around. Marshall battling with Leitner, and the foul's going to be on Christian Leitner. That's his first.
Roger, they have to convert when the opportunity presents itself. They went into a trap, Duke, to try and create a little tempo, a fast-paced game. There's the double up, and they did exactly what Duke wanted. Now here goes the drive to the goal. He beats Leitner. He said, hey, in high school last year, I didn't have to face a Christian Leitner.
8:35 left to go, first half. Marshall's done a good job running the show out top.
He was really hitting the three the other night against Gary Williams and the Maryland team.
Knox nearly loses it, finally does.
Give it up, get it back.
Grant Hill all the way in. And the foul called on Donnie Seal.
I'll tell you something, Roger. That was an amazing play he just made there. Dribbling to the left, coming back with the right hand, and getting the great touch to make this happen. Now here comes the stretch. There's the loose ball. Now they're going to kick it to Grant Hill. Now watch this. With the right hand, He's going to lay it. It's a little finger roll. Now look at the touch. Goes down to the deck. And his dad jumps up to the living room. Calvin says, "That's my guy."
9 points for Grant Hill. Let me make a point that Les Robinson mentioned to me the other day. They've turned it over so much, the young kids out front. He has told the guys, if you get into a jam, just grab it and hold on to it. Let the guys tie you up. At least we'll get 50% of those back. But what happens? They turn it over, open court basket, the foul, and a three-point play.
Backcourt play, so important on the college level. To win big collegiately, you have to have solid guard play.
Another turnover out front.
He's going to make the all-Rambo
Thomas
team.
Hill lays it in, and now Duke has gone up on top 20-18, and they apply the pressure.
Making it all happen with the great defense. He has tremendous pressure on the basketball. Hill, he's got those long arms. Look at that, right there.
Gugliotta inside, lays it up. Nice touch right there.
Tom Gugliotta trying to do it by himself, really, offensively along the baseline. I guess Brian Fagans. Fagans was injured prior to the start of the season, his knee problems.
5 first-year players playing a role for North Carolina State this year, making up about 45% of their playing time, as Donnie Seal will bring it down. Gugliotta didn't stay out long, you notice, and Seal underneath the spin, misses the easy one. Still won't go as Thompson was there, and then the bad reach-in foul on Donnie Seal, and that's his third.
Right now, if I'm Les Robinson, I'm really concerned about the tempo. The tempo's starting to get a little bit too quick right now for North Carolina State.
Tied at 20 with 7:14 to go. First half, as they're going to be shooting 1-and-1. Substitution, Marty Clark has checked in for Mike Krzyzewski right now. Clark's a sophomore from Westchester, Illinois. Has really given him some spark off the bench. Good three-point shooter. And Bacali checks back in for NC State.
Marty Clark comes from a great high school program out of St. Joe's, out of the Chicago area, where they've produced guys like Isaiah Thomas, Darryl Thomas, who was a key player on the national championship Indiana team in 1987. That beat Jamie Boeheim at Syracuse down in New Orleans.
Grant Hill with 11 points.
In fact, that high school has another great player this year, Joe Aker, a 6'10" kid going to Ohio State, where the Buckeyes have really put together a tremendous recruiting class.
And he nails them both. So Grant Hill, the leading scorer, 12 points, and Duke has the lead with 7:14 left to go. First half from Raleigh.
Line right here. There goes Tommy. He's trying to run Leitner in the screen right here. Freeze it. See, there's Bacali, number 22. He's going to try to give himself up for Mr. Gugliotta to come back off. Oh, he knocks Gugliotta, throws it to the deck. Freeze it. See the switch right there? Blakeney, good defensive adjustment, gets right up on Gugliotta after he gets free off Leitner, but he knocks it down, and that's why the NBA scouts love him, his range and his toughness.
Take a look at a couple scores in college basketball on this Sunday. Oklahoma out on top of Kansas State, 30-12. The Sooners have struggled lately, and Memphis State leading Southern Miss by 8. Those games in the first half. So far, North Carolina State shooting 41%, Duke 40% from the floor.
Where have you been, Sooners? Billy Tubbs' team, really one of the disappointments here at this time of the year. He'd be disappointed with their performance, especially at home.
Bacali kicks it to the corner. Davis will take the pull-up pop. Won't go, and Thomas Hill the rebound. No team has repeated as national champs since '73 UCLA. Dick, can Duke do it?
Well, he's certainly got as great chance as anybody, but they need Bob Hurley. They will not do it without Hurley. They expect him back for the Virginia game. He's telling us that today.
Yeah, he said he's progressing very quickly. He's doing the Stairmaster, riding the bike, and they're not going to rush him, but he's chomping to get back. He hates to sit on the bench in street clothes. He wanted to get in a uniform.
Oh, he despises putting the shirt and tie on. Look at a good ball reversal.
Loose ball. Thomas Hill, though, gets it back.
Trying to go around his back and he stripped him.
Davis for 3, and Thompson the rebound underneath. Thompson has gotten better every year. His numbers have improved. He might be, by the time he gets out of here, a pro prospect.
Well, right now he's had a tough time because they don't have guards to make the good decisions to get him the basketball. Right now, Les Robinson, I really believe, has got to slow the game down, spread the court a little bit. Look at Les. He was at Citadel Military School, did a solid job. East Tennessee State won 27 in his last year there.
Mr. Jennings.
Yeah, Mr. Jennings was the little guy that played for him there, 88-90. In fact, he scared Oklahoma, lost to Oklahoma by 1 in the NCAA tournament.
Bacali will take it in, and with 5:58 to go. First half, Duke leads it by just 2. They're really spreading the floor right now.
Well, that's what they should do. Spread the floor, make them play them one-on-one, use the clock, try to get a high percentage shot.
Bacali broke James Worthy's scoring records in high school at Gaston County, North Carolina. Wow, can really shoot it. Down to 10 on the shot clock right now. And they throw it away cross court.
See, that has really been their dilemma the entire year, making sure that each possession counts, and that's what solid guard play does. Think of Georgetown last year. They got Matumbo and they got Mourning, yet they can't win big. Reason? Young backcourt. They had Harrison and they had Brown, 2 freshmen, and you're not going to win big with young people like that on the perimeter.
Bacali the rebound, Grant Hill the miss. This is what Krzyzewski told us before the game. The college game is really a guard game.
Guard-oriented. Nice when you got guards like the Hurleys and the Hills. They get the offensive foul call. Clark does. Gugliotta.
That's going to be the 3rd on Gugliotta. Well, that's a big foul right there. 3 fouls on Tom Gugliotta.
See, here's Marty Clark now going to try and deny him. He's going to try to beat him to the spot. And right here, they get the little... He set him up for that baby. I mean, he set him up for that baby.
Checking into the game for North Carolina State as Gugliotta will sit down as 45, Mark Lewis, a 6'8 sophomore from Greensboro. And this is where NC State comes in trouble. They got to go too deep on their bench.
Well, they have no depth whatsoever at all. And, you know, you think of North Carolina State, I think of that 1983 when our friend Jim Valvano won that national championship. I've always said that I thought that was one of the great achievements because of the fact, Roger, he had to win the ACC tournament just to get into the NCAA tournament. And down at Albuquerque, made it all happen with that unbelievable win. There it is, 1983. I thought the 3 greatest achievements was Jimmy's, Danny Manning, that gang in '88, and certainly Rollie Massimino back in 1985 when he pitched that perfect game against Georgetown.
4-point lead now for Duke with just over 5 minutes to go. A lot of full court pressure by the Blue Devils.
This is danger time right now for North Carolina State, playing without Gugliotta.
And Clark strips it from behind. Leitner's got a man down floor. They finally see him, and he lays it up and in. So Duke with the hook there by Thomas Hill, and it's a 6-point lead.
Making it happen with their defense. It's been a trademark to Duke. It even goes up a notch when they have Hurley to put the pressure on the basketball.
Biggest lead, 6 points. Robinson's trying to get a timeout. Now he says, no, that's okay. Settle down, guys.
This might be the biggest possession of the first half. They need a conversion here, a score.
Bacali takes it in the lane. The leaner with the left-handed in.
But Jim Bacali, they got to get him free for his shot. He can stroke the basketball.
26-22.
Right now he wants to give the ball. He'll slide inside.
Davis trying to lean in, gets it out on the side. And Thomas Hill will kick it out top to Grant Hill.
Grant should give it up and slide inside against Curtis. Curtis Marshall doesn't have the size to play him. So he neutralizes his great size by staying out here on the perimeter.
Whistle away from the basketball. The foul's going to be on Kevin Thompson.
Mike Krzyzewski can go on and on talking about Grant Hill as he's speaking to him right now on the sideline. 1 point guard talking to another. Michael was an outstanding point guard for Bobby Knight at West Point.
Coming up next, Domino's Pizza College basketball continues with Game 2 of our doubleheader. Regional action has Louisville against DePaul, a Pac-10 battle, Washington State and Arizona State. Or in the South, it's Georgia at Texas. That's next here on ABC.
3 disappointing teams right there. Louisville, Arizona State, and Georgia. Georgia coming on a little bit strong right now. Had the big win over LSU. But Vanderbilt, Eddie Fogler gets that big win and shuts down Shaquille O'Neal.
Duke right now 9 of 11 at the free throw line, and Leitner, Dick, with just 3 points today.
Well, you know, Christian Leitner, the last 3 games, Roger, I wrote this down. He was 17 for 45. That's 37%, and that's not Christian Leitner. It could be a little bit fatigued. Remember, shooters have to be fresh and have to be strong physically as well.
Antonio Lang will check into the game, and the pressure once again with a 5-point lead for the Duke Blue Devils.
Well, Mike Krzyzewski realizes they do not have great guard play, so he goes to the full court trap, trying to force the quickness of the game. He wants an up-tempo game.
Davis for 3 from hits.
He's shooting better than 43% from three-point range. Great attitude. He is going to become a really good player here. They think that he could swing and become a second guard.
28-25. as we approach the 3.5-minute mark in the first half from Reynolds Coliseum. Marty Clark on the baseline to scoop it in.
Tough play by Marty Clark. Davis did a great job rotating over to close off his driving angle, yet he squared his body and kicked it on the glass.
Duke by 5.
Really working defensively, trying to keep the ball out of the hands of McCauley.
An offensive foul call out front on Curtis Marshall.
Thomas Hill is one tough defensive player. He loves playing on a defensive end, and you better believe you better play defense if you play for Mike Krzyzewski.
That was a 5-second by
This little guy ever to play the game, Calvin Murphy. You talk about explosiveness. The Niagara Flash was something special.
Dick, Duke ranked #1 in the preseason, still ranked #1. Who was the last one to do a wire-to-wire?
I really believe it was Indiana. Great up and under move there, but good script.
Lewis strips it away underneath, tied up. The arrow pointing to NC State, excuse me, to Duke. And NC State wanted the foul.
I really think it was Indiana. Back in 1976, the team that went undefeated and won the national title. Quinn Buckner, Wilkerson, and Mr. Benson and May. This guy's a fighter on that sideline. They really liked him here so much that they just gave him a 2-year extension on his contract.
They give the ball to North Carolina State.
Well, the arrow really was in favor of North Carolina State.
They just changed it, yeah. Since Gugliotta left at the 5:15 mark, Duke has outscored NC State 8-5. And McCauley has it stripped out front.
They got to use clock. They got to use the clock.
Davis in the lane.
Spread the court. Davis is doing all he can to keep this team in the game.
7 points for the freshman from Utica, Mississippi, and it's 30-27.
How efficient is Duke with the basketball in their offensive game? They lead the nation in field goal percentage. And as you said a little bit earlier, Rod, they're also an outstanding free throw shooting team as well.
Thomas Hill for 3. Look at Davis get the rebound.
He's a tough competitor. I like Davis.
I like the analogy to Quinn Buckner.
Well, I don't know. Buckner was such a solid point guard and had great leadership skills as well.
4 rebounds for Davis. Less than 2 minutes to go, first half. Cross-court pass. Marshall grabs it. That's a dangerous pass. They've thrown that away a couple of times so far today.
Well, it's an effective pass if utilized properly to skip pass over the top of the defense.
And the foul on Leitner away from the basketball. That'll be his second.
You know, it's really amazing. The enthusiasm that's here in this environment, with this team really struggling, losing 8 in a row, getting blown out on a number of occasions, yet the fans really here today, giving them all they can to try to provide that 6-man lift to give them that emotional edge.
Gugliotta said it. He said when the crowd is into it here at Reynolds, they really do give us that 6-man feeling.
Well, they call them the Reynolds Rowdies, but there is nothing like the Cameron Crazies down at Duke.
Thompson. Soft touch it in.
Well, see, Kevin Thompson doesn't touch the ball enough inside because they don't know how to make the proper decision. That's Gugliotta says, I'm going to be a cheerleader here.
First 2 for Thompson. State trails it by 1 with 1:15 to go in the half.
Duke playing really big now with Clarkson, Leitner, 2 big guys. Leitner's almost 7 feet tall. There he is. They're going to double up to get the ball out of his hands.
Grant Hill, Davis loses it. And they're going to say it's Duke basketball.
You know, you mentioned a little bit earlier about wire-to-wire being #1. I think what's so special in that area is the fact that every game you have to get up. Guys like Les Robinson are coming after you. Their teams are emotionally high against you every day. But that's what great athletes and people do.
Leitner for 3 and count it. And the foul on Davis.
Leitner responds with a big 3 from the perimeter. There he is, great hands. He can do it all. He gets the screen from Davis, stays with the shot, and then just simply says, count it.
Oh, he hit those 2 big 3-pointers against LSU in that victory in Baton Rouge, and this could be a 4-point play. What a backbreaker this would be with a minute to go in the half.
Bobby Knight told me the one thing that Duke possesses, why teams have a difficult time, you can't really match up on Leitner. Very difficult to neutralize him, and that's why, to me, he's got to be the MVP of the ACC.
Thomas Hill has it stripped away. McCauley down court to Curtis Marshall. He's got Lewis on the wing. He'll lay it up and in.
There was no doubt Curtis was going to the goal. Lewis didn't have a prayer to get get that ball back. And it was a good decision by the little guy from out of Nebraska.
Later in today's game, we'll announce the Domino's Pizza Player of the Week. And with 30 seconds to go, Duke leads by 2.
NC State really giving a supreme effort here to hang with the #1 team in the nation. They're trying to bring everybody foul line extended, Roger, to spread the court for either a dribble move or a backdoor cut.
5-11 against 6-7 right here. Grant Hill with the basketball. Watch him take it. Leitner for 3. Hits.
Created by Grant Hill. Leitner shoots the little one-hander, but Hill's little dribble penetration. And again, the high percentage shot, and that is a high percentage shot for Christian Leitner. An execution, and that's what Mike Krzyzewski and his people do. They execute.
Grant Hill was the guy that set it up with 5'11" Curtis Marshall on him. See Thompson come off?
Well, the screener is always the most dangerous guy on the floor. Leitner set the screen and stepped back, and there's the reaction out of the MVP of the ACC.
Huge hoop for Duke, who struggled in the first half. They lead by 5, 36-31. Champion Mike Conley against All-Pro linebacker Derek Thomas. Dick, the first attempt for Conley.
Well, Conley's got a lot of basketball background. He played at Arkansas under Eddie Sutton. There's a flying jam.
And that 9.5 put the Kansas City sack artist in immediate danger of elimination. Now, on the football field, Derek Thomas has few peers in the game. But on the basketball court, he knows an athlete like Conley has a definite advantage.
If he comes out with a spectacular dunk first off, I guess I have to go with the power then. The finesse game is out the window.
Roger, let's face it, 6'3", 240 pounds. There are not a lot of linebackers who fare well in competition. Let's see. Tried a little over-the-head slam jam. Tough to do.
Hurt his pride, but he's going up against a 2-time champion. This is Mike Conley's second attempt. His wife, Regina, looking on.
360 spin. Tuck it away. It's another cupcake. Goodbye, Mr. Thomas. This guy's moving on, and here's the reason why. You don't have to be a genius to understand why he'll move on. Just take a look. There's the 360 two-hand jam. Conley, agile, mobile, and he's not fragile.
Well, Dick, we can't give it to him yet. Even though that great score of 9-7, Thomas has got one more attempt. But, Jimmy, these linebackers getting matched up against these track and field guys in the early round.
Oh, Roger, he's going to have to go on the other side of the ball and go to the 2-minute drill. And unfortunately, he's down by 6 touchdowns. So he can rock the ball, rock the cradle, do what he wants to do. The fact is, the sack man is getting sacked himself. Not bad, pretty good. It went down, he dunked it. That's the good news. The bad news is take a seat and wait for the judges to speak, because it's over.
Oh, that was just a football player. I'm going to be sure. I'm going to throw it down and not embarrass myself.
You know, Roger, that's not bad for 6'3" and 240 pounds. That body type, only Charles Barkley can beat a 9'6".
Score of 8-9 just won't cut it for Derek Thomas, and Mike Conley, a 2-time champion, advances to the quarterfinals.
Possession comes with the steal. The great hustle by Duke to really deflect the basketball and get it. Now here is the kick out to Grant Hill. That's freeze it. The attacking area where you're creating the numbers, the 3-on-2 to 4-on-1, and then there's the third phase where you finalize, where you take it to the goal like Mr. Hill, that good finger roll, and that is, as we see him convert, the conversion area where you convert. Just a great play by Duke with their defense. They got possession, they attack.
At Reynolds Coliseum.
Roger, you mentioned the third foul by Gugliotta. That really bothers me in college basketball, that the officials with a call here, a call there, can take a star out of the game and have that kind of power when really this is a foul up on top. When I really feel in basketball, it's the only sport where you're penalized, where you're disqualified. I would like to see the rule change to this. Let the stars, the Shaquille O'Neals, the Gugliottas, and all the great players play. Let the coach make that decision. And after the 5th foul, if a coach keeps him on the floor, it's treated like a technical foul. 2 shots and possession of the ball if he commits the 6th and beyond.
Leitner out the side. That foul was on Kevin Thompson as he tried to break through that screen. Grant Hill takes it inside. Offensive foul. They count the basket. They count the basket. Grant Hill with 13 points. And for the outstanding Duke player who is now playing the point guard spot in place of Bobby Hurley, his first foul of the afternoon.
That's another rule I'd like to see them wipe out. In the NBA,
you got a lot of things you want to change.
Well, in the NBA, I think it's, got to be a blending of minds. I think there's too many egos involved in making the rules, whether it be international, college, or pros. Pick out the best rules that help the game. That's just a makeup call right there. In the NBA, you can't have a score on a charge.
38-31. Biggest lead for Duke now at 7 points. Gugliotta, the baseline, couple of fakes, falls away, can't get it to go. And here comes Duke. They've got the numbers. 4-on-2 with Davis to Thomas Hill.
Oh, little Jam City, baby. That is magnificent, baby. TH.
This is where State's got to watch it. It's a 9-point lead for the Blue Devils.
Well, the Blue Devils are such a great spurt team. They're so explosive off the missed shot. Look at that great defense, beating him to the spot. You drive him, you beat him, and turn him. See that PBT. Drive him, beat him, and turn him.
And the reach-in by Thomas Hill.
There's a philosophy in coaching where you teach man-to-man defense. They learned it years ago from the guy who's the assistant for St. John's, Al Labalbo. You drive the man, you beat him to the spot, and you force him and turn him over. Now there's the kick out the trail, man. There goes Thomas Hill. His dad's assistant AD at Oklahoma.
Over 100 dunks for Duke this year as Thompson gets it to go, his second hoop, and he's got 4 points.
They got to involve him into the offense a little more, Roger. He's like a forgotten guy.
Well, he's averaging over 15 points a game. They just haven't been getting it to him so far today. 40-33, 7-point lead for the Blue Devils. Laker wide open is Davis. Keep moving it closer. Their thought is to get it as close as you can as Gugliotta comes up with a rebound, his 4th of the day. He'll bring it up for him.
And Grant Hill was just sitting in that 3-second lane. We don't see that call made too often.
That's a forgotten call. Marshall leans it off the glass. Can't get it to go. But a good job by Davis, and they get it back to Gugliotta.
And again, recognizing a good shot is very difficult for young players.
Seal stuck inside. The fall away. And Laettner the rebound. What about Laettner? Player of the year?
No, my choice player of the year right now would go to Jimmy Jackson of Ohio State.
Thompson, back to Marshall. See, they just don't know what to do with it right there, the young guy. As Davis takes the 3 and hits it.
He knows what to do.
When in doubt, right? Go to the 3.
Well, he can shoot the trifecta. Hey, Raji, you hit me up quickly with that about is Christian Laettner player of the year in college. That's why I love working with you. You love to challenge me. I like Jimmy Jackson for what he's provided at Ohio State. His great versatility, toughness, and his clutch play. He's been so consistent all year.
Thomas Hill for 3. Right back at you. He's got 5.5, 13 points, and it's 43-36 Duke.
They have so many weapons. They can hurt you with almost so many options. This is one of their great options right here, playing on the defensive end.
Out in the front court, Thomas Hill and Grant Hill go 6'7" and 6'5". Marshall's 5'11", Seals 6'4".
See how they switch on the lateral move?
Seals, good move to the hoop. No basket, but he draws the foul.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier. He was recruited by Jim Valvano and his staff, but didn't have the necessary scores to qualify. Then he went to junior college for 2 years, graduated junior college, but at NC State, he was only able to transfer 41 of those credit hours, so he was -7 in terms of NC State and had to go to school and came here on his own this year and paid his way, and now has got himself a scholarship in the 2nd semester.
Seal, a 65% free throw shooter. I think, Dick, you can take a look at teams and look at their free throw shooting and their turnovers, and you can tell a lot about them. And this is a team that struggled at the free throw line, and they turn the ball over. Whereas you look at Duke, they're great at the free throw line, and they take care of the basketball.
Well, you also look at the makeup of the athletes. Certainly Duke has got the cream, the mint. I mean, they got the best in the land that they're recruiting year in and year out. Quality people, and they take advantage of their strengths.
Well, they call the foul on Gugliotta. That is his 4th as they went for the alley-oop to Grant Hill.
See, this is a situation where I feel, all right, now he has to make the decision, Les Robinson. You are in a situation, you're down 7, you got 1 star on your club, and now if you take him out, it can go up to 15. Do you play him?
I thought Gugliotta was underneath and Hill was over the top that time. I mean, that's a tough call with 16:22 to go, and he's got 4.
I would take him out for maybe about 2-3 minutes to see how it goes. But if they get us to double figures, he's going to have to come back in. Yeah, they're going to make a change. They're going to bring him out of the game. I would do that. I think Les is making a good decision.
They are down by 7, so mark it down with 16-17 left to go in the game.
Let's get the
Gugliotta will come out, and Mark Lewis will check in. And right now it is a 7-point lead. Gugliotta checks out of the game. 11 points in the first half. Gugliotta scored in the second half.
Gugliotta came out at 43-36, 16 and change, 16 and 17 left.
They go right to Leitner, and they immediately call the foul inside. Lenny Wirtz makes the call. And Lenny Wirtz is over talking to someone at the scorer's table. He's never signaled who the foul was on. On Thompson? It's on Kevin Thompson. Now, that's his third, but I think Wirtz was signaling to somebody at the official scorer's table about their reaction to the call. Go right back into Leitner, stripped away, and it'll be state basketball.
North Carolina State's got to come up with a deuce here. They need a little bit of confidence now without Gugliotta. You know, when Gugliotta was here with Valvano, you had Corciani, you had Valvano, and you had Gugliotta. Sounded like a nice Italian construction company. But Gugliotta's uncle just sent word he's happy with the league.
Like Vincenti and Sons, huh?
So they're going to get Thompson the ball a little bit. Let him challenge Leitner inside. Bring the ball in, make Leitner have to work defensively.
Seals trapped. He's already picked it up.
He's actually no.
Davis takes it down the lane. No way. Out of control. Grant Hill takes the charge.
That's the scouting report. The evaluation on North Carolina State. Playing out of control. Lack of real good, solid point guard play.
Really doing it to Southern Mississippi. Memphis State's starting to turn it on here late in the year.
Well, Clarence Weatherspoon's all alone down in Southern Mississippi. They don't have enough help for him. And Memphis State's got 2 kids you got to like. Anthony Hardaway and David Vaughn. What a diaper dandy he is.
Duke with the lead by 7. 15-25. Leitner inside and count it. The foul's going to be on Lewis, and that's what they'll do right now with Thompson with 3, Gugliotta on the bench. They'll just go into the big man.
Well, they rotate the ball over for the good angle on the entry into Leitner. Now he's going to sit down in a box. They get the great 45-degree angle. He spins to the lane, pulls up, doesn't charge, is under control, and that's why he's going to be a heck of an NBA player.
Dick, let me ask you, this guy has elevated his game. He's capable of that. We saw him do it against Mourning. We've seen him do it against O'Neal. What about this man for the Olympic team? Can he be a college guy to crack the pros?
Oh, there's no question that he'll be one of the guys that they're looking at along with Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, and Jimmy Jackson. If I were making a choice, again, I'd go with Jackson because I think he provides some versatility. We don't know Magic's status in terms of playing in the Olympics, and you have a team that has a lot of size with David Robinson and Patrick Ewing and Karl Malone. So I think Jackson would be a better choice.
10-point lead for Duke, and the turnover, and Watch Davis takes
Good night. Hello. Hello. Les Robinson says, why can't I have athletes like they have down in Duke land?
Big lead now by 12, 48-36, and with Gugliotta, they got to get him up. Here he comes right now.
Yeah, as soon as you got the double figures, you got to make that move, get him on. There's no tomorrow, baby, here. You got to play him.
North Carolina State has played very strong in the first half. They trailed it by 5, 36-31 after Leitner completed that three-pointer.
They get a great effort.
Got the 4-point play.
Great effort in the first half. They got to come up with a couple of threes.
On the side of Davis, he's hit a couple of threes. Can't get that one to go. And here comes Duke. To Lang, and he travels.
Antonio Lang almost went to LSU. That was his second choice.
Gugliotta will come back into the game right now.
You got to pick the All-ACC team. I talked a little bit about guys like Leitner, certainly in the middle. Stiff from out of Virginia, Gugliotta. You got to have Bob Hurley, the way he played early this year, and Walt Williams. But what about Rodney Rogers? I watched him yesterday, and I was so impressed. This guy was playing point guard as well as anybody in America prior to his injury. Oh, he also said, say hello to my mom. She's under the weather. This is Hurley. He said she's wrong.
Gugliotta and count it. 3-point land, and the foul's on Grant Hill.
That's what he did against North Carolina. But North Carolina plays that scramble defense, and they trap all over, and he was getting a good look at the basket.
I love seeing the three-pointer and the foul. We saw right before the half, of course, Leitner hit the three-pointer and missed the free throw. Let's see now if Gugliotta can complete the four-point play.
Well, there's no substitute for shooting the basketball. Hey, what about Les Robinson before the game saying that Dean Smith is doing one of his greatest coaching jobs ever? And I echo the same sentiments, because you look at that team, a lot of young second-year players, and you look at a team that doesn't have great speed, yet they only have 3 losses.
Good save by Davis. Googs for 3. Won't go. And Duke comes away with the rebound.
Look at that versatility. Rebound, handle the ball, make the jump shot, play as the leader. Look at the orchestra leader right here. He's going to orchestrate. He's put up a number.
6 boards for Grant Hill. On the baseline, Thomas Hill. The rebound inside, loose ball. And a foul is going to be
Donnie Seal.
Donnie Seal.
You know, you mentioned Lang.
That's 4 on him.
You mentioned Lang and Davis and the 2 Hills. They can play almost any part on the floor. They're so interchangeable.
So we'll get Thompson back into the game and McCullough back into the game. Lewis will check out for North Carolina State as Duke will inbound the basketball. You know, every team, Dick, in the ACC has been in the Final 16 at least once in the past decade. That shows you the strength overall of this conference. I want you to think about who's the best conference right now.
Oh, that's easy for you. Big 8 from top to bottom. I mean, you got to go down and lace them up if you play a Colorado, Nebraska, anywhere in the Big 8. It is really today a physical conference, but a conference with a lot of good athletes, good coaching. I love that Kansas team.
Fouls on Mark Davis. That's his 3rd. So State getting in some serious foul trouble right now with 13-14 left to go in this game. 48-39, 9-point lead as Antonio Lang will head to the free throw line.
Lang's starting to get a lot of minutes now with Hurley out of the game, so that should give him a lot of confidence in coming off the bench when Hurley's inserted back in the starting lineup. Valedictorian, Roger, of his class academically. It's so beautiful when you hear that about Mr. Lang and Mr. Davis, that they have their priorities in order. Academics is also an essential part of their makeup, and I really salute their families for instilling that within them.
50-39. I know you talked to Lang about it being valedictorian at Duke. He says, well, it's a different ballgame out there.
He said, no valedictorian now at Duke. He said, I got those A's in high school.
The miss by Gugliotta, and with under 13 to go, Duke with an 11-point lead and taking control of this basketball game at Reynolds Coliseum. They spread the Gugliotta, good defense with 4 fouls. Will they take it all the way? Behind the back, he loses it.
Yeah, got a little bit out of control.
Grant Hill kicks it down to Leitner. He'll set it from 3 and hits.
Christian Leitner gets a good look at the basket. You know, it's got to be frustration for Gugliotta when he looks at the 2 guys and he says, I just wonder if I played with a cast like Leitner's playing with.
Yeah, but you know what? He's going to graduate.
He's going to be an NBA
first-round pick, so I guess something like Thompson gets it and nails it.
Oh, he's had himself a super career here. In fact, Les Robinson told us that a little earlier, and he felt bad for Gugliotta, and he told him, he says, Tommy, remember this, on May 1st, you're going to be able to walk down the aisle and graduate, and you're going to be an NBA first-rounder, where a lot of guys who are playing in winning situations now will not be able to make the same claim.
And more than that, North Carolina State loved having you here. So that works both ways. 53-41, Duke's really spread it out right now.
Well, they go to that 2-3 foul line extended offense, and then they slide into a set after they run some clock down. They put the ball in the hands of the orchestra leader, but they get a turnover. 5 seconds. If you're within 6 feet of the offensive player, he has a 5 seconds that he can possess the ball. He must give it up.
Well, I wouldn't mind being remembered as one of the best players ever at Duke. I think that's something I can accomplish. I think it's something I have accomplished in a sense so far.
Well, I'd say in a sense so far. How about Dick's solid gold Blue Devils?
Well, there's the 5 guys I think are the best ever to lace up at Duke. Heyman, Mullins, certainly doing a great job now coaching North Carolina Charlotte. Johnny Dawkins to the pros. Danny Ferry was player of the year in college. And Christian, I mean, he's had a tremendous career. And that leaves off some really quality names.
Jaminski.
Yeah, what about Gene Banks?
Jack Marin.
Jack Marin, Bob Berger. I mean, you can go on and on. They've had so many great players. And get ready. There's got to be room for a guy by the name of Grant Hill when he's going to be done. One of those guys are gone. Hey, we don't have Dick Groat in here. We're not going to the 50s. Groat was sensational when he played at Duke.
12-point Duke lead, 11 and a half to go. Critical time here for the Wolfpack.
Dick was one of my idols, all-ball dome guy. I mean, great shortstop in baseball. He's just a class guy as well.
Gugliotta, the shot. Thompson trying to get the board, and it'll be North Carolina State basketball.
They got to come up with a spurt right now, North Carolina State. This is the guy that can key a spurt. Les Robinson, I mean, I'll tell you one thing, optimism galore. I think it's great when your leader just doesn't want to admit that we can't beat someone. That's fantastic. That's good.
Gugliotta for three.
That's what he can do.
Tom Gugliotta with 17 points. He's trying to keep the Pack in it. They trail it by 9.
Can he shoot the rock, Roger?
Yeah.
And if he had some people that were able to distribute the basketball and not make him force his shot, his percentage would even be higher.
Davis on Davis. Back out to Thomas Hill.
They got to come up with a defensive stop.
Leitner. Tipped up. Won't go. Reaching in. No foul called. And finally, there they call it. I got to tell you what, they've been a little slow on calling the Duke people today. They did just a little bit slow, Dick.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You don't want to bring the ball down. There's a little turnaround J by Leitner. Now, here comes the rebound. Now, let's see. Is he attacked? It's all ball. It's all ball. It's Pablo's. Oh, there's little hands in there. Come on. Call it on Leitner. Call it on him. He says, but I'm an All-American. That's 3 on Christian.
53-44, 9-point lead.
They'll try to set a screen for Gugliotta. Flash switching on him.
Flashing him on the baseline. Kick it back out top for 3.
That's a poor shot, Roger. That's not a good shot.
Thomas Hill comes up with a loose ball inside.
Because they're so limited offensively, he has to take shots, really, that normally he would not take when he played last year with Forciani and Monroe.
Thomas Hill's dad was a track coach at Army when Coach K was up there.
Was tremendous hurdler. Won a medal in the Olympics.
Recruiting comes in many different fashions, Dick, through the years.
They got to meet each other up at West Point.
Leitner, the soft touch, can't get it down. Loose ball, Marshall battling, and the foul's going to be called inside. From Antonio Lang, and that'll be his third.
Larry Rose must have heard you, Roger. He made a good call right there. And a good call.
There's Coach K. You know, this team, what a great record in NCAA tournament play. 27-7, Dick. And I know when you coached at Detroit, you got to that tournament. You know how tough it is to win games there.
Well, you better believe that. I certainly wouldn't have given anything to get to a Final Four just one time in my life, but it didn't happen. When I get to them now, at least go down there and watch it.
There you go. Color in there right now. Number 3, Gugliotta, the corner 3, and he's fouled. Antonio Lang commits his 4th foul.
A play like that really helped Duke earlier this year against Michigan. When they were on the ropes, Mr. Chris Webber came over and fouled Bob Hurley when they were down 5 late in the game, and Hurley made all 3 free throws.
Marty Clark will check in. State just 3 of 7, Dick, from the free throw line. Duke 13 of 17. Those are little things. The free throws taking care of the basketballs. When you look at stats at the end of the game, you can really tell a lot about the makeup of a team.
No, it's like in football. The special teams are so important for the ultimate, whether or not you're going to get to the winner's circle. They're the same in basketball.
Gugliotta, see, 3 of 5, 71%. He has been on a tear, though, of late, shooting from the free throw line, and has had some great games matched up with Walter Williams, even though they lost to Maryland. A great matchup there. He had over 30 in that game.
Had 32 against Maryland. Maryland pulled the game out. Walt Williams had 27.
There he gets one.
I don't like those shoes that he's wearing. This guy's always got tremendous poise on the sideline. I'll tell you a number that really impresses me about Mike Krzyzewski. The last 6 years, he's averaging 28 wins a game.
He got 1 of 3.
That really hurts. Every point you get a chance like that, a free opportunity, you just address the issue about free throw shooting. That really hurts, especially when your star doesn't deliver.
9:20 to go. 8-point lead for Duke.
They're hanging with him, though, right?
Yeah, they are.
They're hanging. They'll let them knock him out.
But remember, Gugliotta's got 4 fouls. Thomas Hill looking from 3-point line. Clark.
They want to attack Gugliotta. I would attack him. Whoever he's guarding, I would take the ball right at him. He can't play. He's got to play Matador defense.
They're just letting him run right now. He's got Clark.
So who's the 5th option on the offense?
Hill can't get it. Gugliotta the rebound.
And he almost rotated over to try and take the charge, and that's a dangerous moment. There he is, wide open.
From behind, though, it's blocked. And Gugliotta gets it back.
Grant Hill snuck in right behind him, had a good look. Oh, look at that great pass.
Thompson, oh, he misses it with the left hand, but he gets it back. McCullough.
That's just athletic ability by McCullough. Tremendous athlete right there. Great catch. The Reynolds Rowdies will go bananas if he can knock one down here.
Inside to Thompson, kicks it back to Marshall. He was thinking about it. Grant Hill at 6'7", just too much for the 5'11" freshman from Omaha, Nebraska.
Davis is chasing Gugliotta everywhere he goes. See, they switch on him now. Clark steps out on the switch.
That's a tired shot right there.
Well, it's a forced shot again. He's got a trailer. He's got a trailer. There it is.
Hill.
Oh, yes.
Side. And slamming it down is Brian Davis.
They love the dunks. They keep a statistics now as to how many dunks they've had during the course of the year.
They've got over 100. They had 98 coming into this game. They've got well over 100.
It's better than 5 a game.
56-45. Marshall tries to get it inside. Thompson comes up with it. Working on Leitner. And gets it to go. Oh, and then he's pushed. That should be a foul on Davis. That should be a foul on Davis.
It wasn't deliberate, but he definitely made contact. Brian walks over, says, sorry. But watch the play at the end. This is a great power drive. Might have had a little walk-in violation here. Oh, there's the block out and a foul by number 23.
No call, though.
Obvious.
No call, though. Thompson with 8 points. And 7:28 left to go. We'll be back after these messages.
Held around in Hardaway and also Vaughn, and they're making a run. You know, that next game, too, Louisville, when you talk to Paul, becomes a big game in terms of the postseason. These teams are getting into the danger area where these games become a must.
Gugliotta out top, picking up Davis.
Yeah, I would attack Gugliotta. I would go right at him, whoever he's playing. He's going to try to zone up, basically. See, he's not even playing. He's going to be wide open.
He's going
to shoot the rock.
Take that outside shot. Yeah, ooh, that was a dangerous move as Grant Hill gets it against Marshall. Total mismatch.
Well, total M&M right there. I mean, that's like comparing me with Robert Redford in a good-looking contest. I'm good-looking and he's ugly.
15 points for Grant Hill. Come on, Dick. Give yourself more credit than that, man. 57-47. 10-point lead for Duke. 6:45 left to go from Reynolds Coliseum, where unusual for North Carolina State. They've lost 4 consecutive home games. This would be their 5th, and that would tie the Coliseum record for North Carolina State. 5 straight home losses.
See, right now they're in a man-to-man set. Duke playing a tough man-to-man, and it's so difficult getting Gugliotta free because they're playing him head-to-head.
Marshall got caught in the air in the middle with nowhere to go. Thomas Hill drops it off to Davis, and won't go, but the foul called on McCullough.
Well, they are so quick. Once they come up with the steal in transition, Duke just puts it in high gear and explodes up the floor.
So the foul on McCullough, and checking back in for North Carolina State is Donnie Seal. Davis will go to the line for the Blue Devils. Brian's a 6'6" senior, co-captain on this team from Capitol Heights, Maryland. And one of the things he does so well, he takes the charge, Dick. He took 16 charges last year. He really gives it up for the team.
Well, yeah, they're guys, whenever you talk about a great basketball team, you have to have those kind of role players. He also plays on the defensive end. The one great thing about Duke's basketball team, and it's because of his leadership, Mr. Krzyzewski, they really aren't into a big kick as to how many points and how many rebounds. The bottom line is putting it all together as a team, blending as a unit, and winning. And that's what they do day in and day out. You know, it's really interesting. You look statistically nationally, Mike Krzyzewski's teams are not ranked in the tops in the nation defensively based on points allowed. I think that's a misleading statistic because some of these teams that are leading, like Princeton, Wisconsin, Green Bay, they also pull the ball out and play ball control. Well, a statistic that impresses me is scoring margin of difference between your offense and defense, and Duke's like plus 20.
Well, I'll tell you what, they score 91.4 game. They give up 71.5. And Dick, if you look at every statistical category for Duke and look at every statistical category for their opposition, Duke is better in every single category. North Carolina State only out-rebounds their opposition. In the rest of the categories, they're in the minus category.
And that's why they're losing 8 in a row.
58-47, less than 6 minutes to go. Gugliotta's playing with 4 fouls and has for most of the second half, and the reaching from behind the foul on Davis.
So difficult for Tom to get a good shot with this kind of defense. He does get free. Somebody rotates quickly over. They switch on him.
They're in the 1-and-1 as Gugliotta will go to the free throw line. This guy does so many things for you. You talked about his outside shooting. He leads the ACC in number of three-pointers attempted. But statistically, it's not just the scoring, rebound. He also the assists. You know, he dishes it out. I mean, he's really a total package.
Yeah, he can dish the rock. You know, it was interesting to hear Mike Krzyzewski compare his early start at Duke with Les Robinson. He said, very similar. He said, my second year was a struggle.
His third year was a struggle, too, actually.
The third year was a big struggle. He said, because we were all young people. And then the fourth year on, we started to roll. And he also said, they got the right guy that can handle this. And I really believe that ultimately he's going to have them back challenging again for first division in the ACC.
And Coach K, 17-13 his first year, then 10-17, 11-17 before he got on that 20-win track. And then, of course, in 86, 37 victories, and I don't think that'll ever happen again.
That was incredible, that team that lost to Louisville in the national championship was never nervous. Purvis Ellison was sensational for Louisville.
Davis dishes it off underneath. Well, Grant Hill got trapped. They called traveling. He went up and hit the bottom of the backboard. So with 5:20 to go, the turnover on Duke as they lead it by 10.
There's Davis on the inside, kicks it out to Grant. Grant with that good first step. Now here it is. That comes back. That's a rookie violation. Actually called a travel along the baseline.
Just over 5 to go. Donnie Steele will take it in the lane. And see, he got trapped again. How many times have you seen the point guard take it in the middle and then have nowhere to go? And then have somewhere to go. Brian Davis threw it down.
He said, I'm mad. I'm mad. And the Cameron Crazies who are watching on the tube said, that's our guy Davis, baby. They can't wait to get home at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
State wants a timeout. 4:54 to go. 60-48 Duke.
Turn it over against Duke. You really pay for it. Here they are exploding in transition off the turnover. Raj, you can really run 7 basic ways. You can run after a made field goal, a missed shot, a made free throw, a missed free throw. You can run off against pressure defense, off jump ball situations swell, and also off the turnover.
Duke scored 20 points off the turnover today. They lead it by 12. And I remind you, this telecast being produced in association with Raycom Sports. 4:40 left to go in this basketball game as the Blue Devils lead it by 12 points, 60-48. Baseline move by Davis. Thompson to follow it in and a pile up underneath.
Kevin Thompson with a good second effort.
He's got 8.5, 10 for the game, and it's a 10-point ball game. And with a 3-point shot, if they can get Gugliotta free, Pacali's also in there right now. They can maybe close this gap.
The Duke's going to go right now to their spread. Controlled tempo, go to a 2-3 set, looking for a dribble penetration or a backdoor cut. And if it's not there, they'll run some clock, and then they'll get it into what they call one of their structured games.
And this is a team, if you start fouling them, send them to the line, they're shooting 77%, and that's not the thing you want to do.
They really try to spread it. Very tough to double up, and there's the foul. Notice how Grant Hill was in a proper place against the double team. One step off the line of the ball so they can reverse the basketball once the trap comes.
The foul is on Pacali, and that is his first foul. As Curtis Marshall will check back in for North Carolina State. Tony Lang will also come back into the game. Marty Clark will check out for Duke. Duke started the season, Dick, with just 11 players. And now with the injury to Hurley, they're down to 10. Depending upon Hurley's situation, I'm looking at their bench scoring today, just 4 points. If he's gone too long against the upper echelon teams, that can hurt him.
Well, there's no question that they would struggle against the real top-flight club at postseason time without a Bob Hurley. I mean, there's no way I feel they could win a national championship and win 6 in a row without this little guy at 100% and playing like Bob Hurley can play.
And he really improved this year in regards to taking care of the basketball, because he turned it over a lot last year, but this year he did it. He's just done a super job.
Also defensively done a great job, and he just keeps getting better and better. He's made himself an NBA definite prospect now. A lot of people thought he was a suspect at first, but he could play in the NBA with the right team.
61-50, 11-point lead. Gugliotta's played the majority of the second half with 4 fouls.
They can't get him the ball that easily. Look how Duke keeps switching on him. They deny him the ball.
Pacali to scoop with the left-handed in.
Pacali's the kind of guy that I think is going to get more minutes. He can provide some spark offensively.
Mujin Bakali, a 6'6" sophomore from Belmont, North Carolina. And it's a 9-point ball game with 3:15 to go.
Here's the versatility of Duke when they step out Leitner. You have another good ball handler on the club. They're so difficult to trap and press because they can all handle the basketball. See, there's the spacing. 15, 17 feet apart. Tough to rotate and get a good double up on it.
A lot of slashing type of players on the floor right now for Duke, and they spread it like this, and they bust somebody down the lane. They get the easy two.
Well, exactly right, Roger. The reason they go foul line extended is to take away help. Now they go to a little 1-4 set. Dribble penetration. Look at a great bounce pass. Fundamentally so sound.
And nobody there is Lang laid it in. And it's 63-52 with 2:35 to go from Reynolds Coliseum.
It's going to be tough to keep Grant Hill off the All-American team next year, preseason.
Marshall trying to make something happen. He gives it to Gugliotta inside, taken away by Leitner. Just no space in there for the North Carolina people. Every time the guards try to penetrate, Dick, Duke does such a great job of closing the lane down.
Well, they help out really well. I'll tell you, Coach Twyla, you're doing a heck of a job analyzing as well here. I like it. Keep it up. Spreading the court. You know your hoops, big fella.
Well, I've been hanging around you too long.
You know how to eat, too. Mix up.
I've always done that pretty well. 63-52, less than 2 minutes to go.
See how difficult they are to trap? They spread the floor and put it in the hands of this guy. He's going to make my All-American team next year. I love him, but each moment I watch him play, I just keep liking more and more what I see about Grant Hill. Things will get better, Les. They'll get better. They got to get better. You lose one in a row.
They don't get better. They're at North Carolina.
And that's payback time. That's revenge time.
Oh, it's not going to get better too much too soon here for the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Meanwhile, Duke comes up. They've got Maryland at home, and then they're at Wake Forest and Virginia, and then a big game on ABC March 1st at UCLA.
Ooh, I can't wait for that game down there at Pauley Pavilion. In fact, right now, if I had to go with my top 4 teams in America, I go with Duke number 1, as this is the free throw hill. Number 2, I go with UCLA. Had that big weekend where they won on the road at Oregon State and Oregon. Number 3, I'd go with Kansas. Just love Kansas. And 4, Ohio State. I'll see them Tuesday night against the Iowa Hawkeyes. And that could be a really good game because Iowa at home right now, I think could be a real dangerous team for anyone.
McCauley taking it down. Block. Oh, they're going to count it. Goaltending on Lang. As McCauley, who's a smooth-looking left-hander, will get the hoop. It's a 10-point ball game.
I don't know. Every time I watch this guy play, some good things happen, McCauley. Yet he sits on a pine a lot. He's like you, man. You were a member of my all-airport team, my all-pine team when you played. There goes the ball to the goal, the left-hander. Now does he get the ball on its downward foot? Ooh, that was close. It was very close.
1:37 to go. 10-point Duke lead.
There's the spread of the court again. I just love the way they're coached. Such a design he has, such a purpose with each possession. And what a coaching staff Mike Krzyzewski has assembled with Tommy Amica, Peter Gadet, Michael Bray.
Nice to have Amaker there. Amaker part of that Johnny Dawkins, huh?
Look at Pete Gadet sitting right behind Mike. He's relaxed. Come on, Pete, smile. Former West Point head coach. That's Tommy Amica. He will be an outstanding head coach. He has that great gift that he can communicate, and that's the key today to coaching. In fact, Mike was addressing that about Roy Williams today, saying what makes Roy so special, his ability to communicate. There's a beautiful article on Roy Williams today by Frank DeCenzo of the Durham paper here in Durham, North Carolina.
Thomas Hill makes the first one.
What numbers Mike Krzyzewski's beginning to pile up, and what achievements. Incredible. And he's such a young guy. He'll be the assistant to Chuck Daly in the Olympic team.
And 16 points now for Thomas Hill. And it's 66-54. As Seal will bring it down. 1:23 left to go. And he says, hurry up and find Gugliotta and let him shoot a 3. But Lang is on it.
They step out and switch right on it.
Leitner over the top.
You know, Raj, mentioning that Olympic team, it's unbelievable when you think about it. I could just see a situation. Mike Kay sitting next to Chuck Daly. They're up 42-7 against the Soviet team.
Oh, coming up next, Louisville, DePaul, Washington State against Arizona. Washington State, pretty good ball club this year. Georgia and Texas.
Kelvin Sampson's done a good job. That Louisville-DePaul game is big for both those clubs. But, you know, I could see us being up 42-7, the unified Soviet team put together, and all of a sudden, here comes Barkley, slam, jam, bam. Here comes David Robinson. Finally, Chuck Dilley turns to Michael Kay, and he says, Coach Kay, we got to substitute. We got to put our scrubs in. He said, yeah, you go in, Larry Bird. Go in for Barkley. You go in, Ewing. You go in for Mr. Robinson. And I could hear the Russians talking to each other. Comrade, what is this? What is this? Our scrubs.
Well, this thing with 1:07 left to go and a 12-point lead for the Blue Devils of Duke, who were on their way to their 20th victory of the year. The lone loss, of course, to North Carolina. North Carolina celebrated like they just won the championship or something when they...
Well, somebody pointed out to me and said, that shows you how much Duke has really arrived, that the celebration was one of unbelievable jubilance, like you thought they won a national title. But they got a great performance out of Eric Montross in that game. But the reason for the jubilant celebration, you just beat the defending national champs. You broke their unbeaten record, their dream of going unbeaten, and everybody just wanted to enjoy the moment down at Chapel Hill. I don't see anything wrong with that.
And Grant Hill with 18 points, 68-54, and they start to leave here. Sellout crowd of 12,400 at Reynolds Coliseum.
This is one of those moral victories. Great effort, but unfortunately, a moral victory, baby. It's like Emptiesville.
As Gugliotta hits it from the side, and he'll call a timeout with 53 seconds to go. So Tom Gugliotta.
Jackson's another one. That is a great shot from Warren.
And they're going to call the foul immediately on McCullough. We talk about the guys that get it done, Dick. Those guys that around the country that whatever it takes to win a game, the versatile players. And you, well, I love the picture. You look better than the signs here in the Coliseum.
Yeah, they got so many signs here making me look so ugly. Hey, Jimmy Jackson certainly there. Grant Hill, Walter Wizard Williams, Todd Day down in Arkansas. I still say Arkansas is going to break loose. And Chris Mills, Arizona's been doing a heck of a job. They just keep winning. They had that tough loss to Washington. They got a good front court, good back court. Lute Olson's got one of the quality programs. In fact, I've said the top 4 programs in America are Duke, North Carolina, Indiana, and Arizona in terms of looking at. I've said this time and time again. Graduating players, winning, and no NCAA investigations.
Marty Clark, the only man off the bench today, score for Duke. And time permitting, stay tuned after the game for the Budweiser post-game report.
Hey, happy President's Day.
Hey, yeah, tomorrow.
I would have picked my All-President's Day.
Dick's got a team for everything, and folks even floored me with this when he told me earlier today that he had an All-President's team. And as soon as North Carolina State trailing by 13 with Gugliotta hitting from the side, that's just a 2-pointer. We'll foul on the inbounds here. There it is. So now, okay, folks, Dick Vitale's, this is in the history of the United States of America, the All-President's team.
Well, you got to go with George Washington's got to be the point guard. I mean, he's got to be the guy to make it happen at the point. He leads the troops. Then you got to go to the scorer. You got to go to the little guy. We got to go to Madison, the smallest president of them all at 5'2". He's like the Michael Adams. Then we go to the middle with Uncle Abe, the big tall guy, the space eater. Then we go to the power forward, a real role player, the Secretary of Defense, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Then we go to the small forward, the go-to guy when things are tough, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And then we go to our 6th man. We go to Mr. Ford coming off the bench. And then we go to the communicator, the Coach K.
Wait, how many you got here?
Ronald Reagan.
You got here. Stop. I thought I'd heard it all. Unbelievable. 71-58, less than 30 to go. Seal will take the 3, and he hits it.
But I'll tell you one thing, these kids had no quit in them. Lose 8 in a row, playing the #1 team in the nation. They gave a great effort.
10-point game. Nearly got a steal, and it's going to be state basketball with 14 seconds to go.
You know, Mike's really the kind of guy that's the detail. He will take the last 2 minutes. He will show them on film how they broke down. And if you do it in a game against somebody good, you're going to go down with an L.
Marshall, you got to shoot it, son. You got 17 seconds to go. Thompson with the rebound and puts it up and in.
I like him. He's got good hands. He just doesn't touch the ball enough on the baseline. Kevin Thompson.
And the clock is going to wind down, and that's going to do it. Duke will come in and beat North Carolina State and stop their losing streak at Reynolds Coliseum at 5 games, and the Wolfpack now the losers of 9 in a row. The final, Duke 71, North Carolina State 63. We'll be back to Reynolds Coliseum right after this.